Okay. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Historic Districts Council's annual Grassroots Preservation Awards. I'm Simeon Bankoff, Executive Director of HDC. It is my absolute pleasure to welcome you all. I wish that we were all in the churchyard at St. Mark's Church in the Bowery, as we often are, but someday soon we shall be again. I hope everyone's taking care and being well. The Grassroots Preservation Awards are very important to the Historic Districts Council. They are when we have a chance to really celebrate the people and the institutions and the campaigns that do all of the work of preservation, we feel, in New York, that without the efforts of the people and the people we're awarding and the people we've awarded past, couldn't be working to preserve and protect the best parts of New York City and keep the city going. These are the awards, are our opportunity to applaud our own and really shine a light on the people who love New York as much as we do and who are doing what they can to keep it that way. So you didn't sign on to listen to me stumble over my words. Instead, it is my absolute pleasure to introduce our two awardees of this evening. I'm going to introduce them both, and then we're going to turn it over to them. The first is the Greenwood Cemetery. Sorry, having this mind blank, which comes from just talking at a computer all day long. Once upon a time, you're like, oh, people are like, oh, you're talking, you kind of have these moments. You're like, yes, no, but instead it's just me in an office talking to a computer. Anyway, so the Greenwood Cemetery, founded in 1837, is a non-sectarian burial site that has been reinventing itself and opening up its doors to New Yorkers for over 170 years. The cemetery, which is a vast landscaped and beautiful place, National Historic Landmark, also been working on expanding its public programming. And in fact, the last time, and I know that Lisa and Rich and Gabrielle will talk more about this, but hosted, at least in pre-pandemic times, 250,000 visitors, making it Brooklyn's first most tourist destination. Greenwood also is the permanent residence of over 500,000 permanent New Yorkers. So I always like to say that if indeed they could all vote, they would have at least 3, perhaps 4 council people on their side. So it's my pleasure to welcome Lisa and Gabrielle and Rich, and then also following them, the Street Historic District Initiative in East Flatbush. Julia is a longtime Brooklynite who had really worked to muster her community and get the first historic district in East Flatbush designated, and the first completely remote. This was all done remotely, which is only a shame because her neighborhood is so beautiful, but she is, and her block is so beautiful, but she has provided a great little film for us that sort of shows the beauty of the house. And we'll be talking about how she managed to get her community together and really do this community organized, sort of at a distance. Thrilled that they can both be with us. I'm going to stop stumbling over my words and leave it over to Rich, Lisa, and Gabrielle, please.
Simeon, thank you so much. Hi, everyone. I just want to say that we are really honored and thrilled to be the recipient of a Grassroots Award from the Historic Districts Council. We really thank you guys so much for recognizing Greenwood with this honor. I'm going to share my screen. I hope this is going to be successful. Can everyone see that? Here we are. Here is Greenwood in South Brooklyn. Let's see if I can. Oh, of course. So of development and programming at Greenwood, and I'm here today with my boss and president of Greenwood, Rich Moylan, and our wonderful coordinator of public programs who has done such incredible work with volunteers and ambassadors who have helped Greenwood keep open during the pandemic and beyond, Gabrielle, Gatto. So the very first thing we want to say is that we love HDC. And we think maybe this is not an unrequited love, because as you can see here, Simeon and his wife Hafina even told the New York Times that they spend the weekends with us. And I'm not sure if the gin comes after or before the cemetery walk, but either way, we're during maybe. Either way, we're really always very good to have them. And we're also really thrilled to play a part in HDC's support and advocacy for Sunset Park, our wonderful neighbor to the south. The fabulous Lynn Massimo and Lynn Tondrick led the charge, and I believe Joe Svelak is on this call, and that is Mr. Svelak right there in the picture on the right. You know, the blocks that they were proposing for landmark designation were non-contiguous, and happily they called upon Greenwood to use our trolley to take the landmarks commissioner, and as you can see in the photo, the future landmarks commissioner around Sunset Park to appreciate its magic, and just a few short years, or maybe a few long years after Sunset Park was indeed designated as a historic district, and we're really thrilled for that. And we're really proud of our interaction with the community, and it's really something that's very important to us. So we're here just to tell you a little bit about Greenwood and how we listened to and responded to our community last year when the coronavirus hit New York. And for anyone not familiar with the area where Greenwood is, we are in South Brooklyn. We're 478 acres, and we're surrounded by Windsor Terrace, Borough Park, Kensington, Park Slope, Prospect Park South, and Ditmas Park. I think that's about it. First, before we talk about all the people who wanted to come to stroll through the cemetery grounds, it's important to remember that in March, April, and May, Greenwood was facing a challenge of a much different sort. And that was the overwhelming number of burials and cremations that were happening every single day. It was really an incredibly sad and grim time. And as I'm sure you all remember, Rich Moylan, who's worked at Greenwood for well over 4 decades, told the Washington Post in an interview it was the saddest time he's ever seen here at Greenwood. Burials and cremations were quadruple the normal rates. Yet, at the same time, with quarantine in place, oops, sorry, went ahead too quickly. Brooklynites were getting cabin fever. And we received a letter from one of our neighbors who asked us very nicely to open all 4 gates to the public at all times. I guess you could officially call it a petition, but we didn't think of it as a petition because it was super nice. And it was, you know, all the people who signed it sent us, along with their names, these really lovely notes about how we love Greenwood and please keep this open. And so we thought, you know, my goodness, this is really an important thing to do. And I'm going to turn it over to Rich now and tell you about, or he can tell you about how he made what we all think was a pretty bold decision, but I think he's going to insist that he really saw no other option. But Rich, over to you.
Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Simeon. Thank you, Board of HDC. You know, Simeon, it's funny, you mentioned 3 city council and we can't even get 1. But anyway, yeah, opening up all 4 gates again was something we had wanted to do for a long time. It's just expensive to do because, as you can imagine, we can't just open the gates and leave them unattended. We would have a lot of things entering the cemetery and going on in the cemetery that we would not want. Unfortunately, we really can't allow bicycles in the cemetery because of the narrow roads. So bicycles would be here, skateboards would be here. So we need to staff the gates. So we looked at volunteers, but this was the PG period, the pre-Gabrielle period. So we asked and we weren't really getting a lot of response, and we needed a strong response because the gates needed to be staffed by people who could stop things from happening. So we decided we needed to bring in paid people. We looked around, we saw Brooklyn Botanic Garden closing, we saw other cemeteries closing, we saw the parks overrun with people, filled with litter, and we just decided we had to act. So we just staffed the 4 gates and opened them all up. In 2019, we had set our modern day, since we've been tracking it, attendance record of about 320,000. Well, in 2020, we brought in over 600,000 people. Almost 600,000. So it was pretty amazing. We did have a lot of issues. People forgetting that this is a sacred space. I will always say we're not a space for recreation. We just can't be. There are still active burials every day. There's a perfect example of one of the minor things that took place here. Bicycles got in, people walking their dogs. There was a lack of respect. So we sort of warned the public, and it got a lot of local press that we were going to shut the gates, that they were leaving us with no choice. We were getting complaints from lot owners and the like. And it seemed to work. People started calling. And just around that time, we had hired Gabrielle. And she worked miracles. She put together our ambassador program. The ambassador program, I attended a Zoom meeting on how parks and public spaces were responding to COVID that Mitchell Silver, the Parks Commissioner, was involved in. And he mentioned the ambassador program. What he didn't mention was that parks hadn't got it off the ground yet. Well, we got ours off the ground before they did. And Gabrielle made it into a tremendous success, which it still is. And we've just been really pleased with the reaction that we got from, I mean, just getting this honor came as a huge surprise to us. So we felt we had to be there for the people of New York. We're planning on keeping the gates open, all 4 gates open. So we will be here for New Yorkers ongoing. With that, I would like to introduce the amazing Gabrielle Gatto.
Y'all have the best bosses. And thank you, HDC. It's really such an honor to be here and to be recognized for the wonderful, crazy, what I always thought was behind the scenes work, but it's nice to be in the limelight on the Zoom call tonight. So I just kind of wanted to talk about how we got it to work. The first weekend in May that we launched the program, we had over 80 volunteers greet me on the grounds. So it was a little difficult to jump from gate to gate and group to group to meet, group to meet and train them alongside all of the droves of people that were coming in, because the response was just so overwhelming. I thought, all right, I'll take the cemetery car to the Prospect Park West entrance and meet one person, and maybe in 20 minutes go to Fort Hamilton. But it was like 10 people at each gate every like 20 minutes or so. So that was a whirlwind weekend, but I wouldn't have wanted it any other way, because it was a great learning opportunity for all of us to see what we were up against. Most folks just didn't know it was an active cemetery. A lot of people are familiar with the National Historic Landmark distinction, but were confused why hearses are still coming in. To share a funny story, one of my ambassadors called me and I was like, okay, so someone is giving their husband a haircut on top of a monument. Like, what do I do? I was like, well, make sure it's not their lot first, but also tell them not cool. So that was probably the weirdest one. Some people, were setting up like it was the beach and there were literal beach balls being thrown around. And people were really great once we had ambassadors approach them. So I was able to train them just on our rules and regulations, and a really great way to interact with the public and get them really interested in why the rules are what they are and what we do here. So, they would approach people, hi, I'm a Greenwood ambassador. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the rules and regulations or not, but X, Y, and Z. So I was really just stunned at how over 100 people within that first weekend really quickly geared up, suited up, put one of these bad boys on. You too can wear one of these if you would like. I'll train you and you could come on the grounds with us as well. But so signing them up really quickly evolved. I remember Lisa and I talking about Google Forms, and I was on phone calls and things like that, but we were able to switch to a really great volunteer sign up platform. And although the bursting at the seams excitement has subsided, we still have a really steady roster of dedicated community members that are proudly wearing the badges I just showed you on a daily basis. So the program is expanding. It's going to include gate greeters for the weekends and hopefully throughout the week as well. And right now, currently, I have some ambassadors on site setting up for an event, as well as we've got a Zoom ambassador helping us host a virtual program with our historian, Jeff Richmond, tonight. So I'm really proud of all the initiative that they've taken, and we've been able to do a lot of skills-based volunteering. Some of these folks are incredible photographers, and Lisa, if you don't mind, I think I might steal the share screen from you.
Steal away. I'm sorry, I have to stop first. Okay.
All good. Let's see. I would like to show you basically what we've had done was I created a Google Drive. Y'all can see this, right? Thumbs up. So here's from our most recent event, the Hanami Festival. And so many of them just came out and were able to help with check-in and, be horticulture ambassadors and explain to people the landscape that they were immersed in alongside the history of the site itself and the monuments that were surrounding that area. These photos that you're seeing are taken from our volunteer photographers as well. So I always just think this is kind of neat. This is from our Day of the Dead installation in our historic chapel. And then some of these folks, they go out on the grounds and they take these great pictures of, just daily life at Greenwood throughout the season. So I'm really excited to see how that keeps going. So those are just some photos. But I just really wanted to say thank you, because I had such immense support from our president and our vice president and Dr. Harry Weil and Daria Mergen and everyone else from the Historic Fund here at Greenwood to support me to really get this to work. And what I'll say is it's a growing community. And now I feel like we have this great group of people that are ready to grow alongside us and keep us keeping on. The gates being open, I mean, just to tell you what some volunteers have expressed to me, oh my goodness, every time I interact with someone, they just cannot stop, telling us how grateful they are that the gates have been open. So thanks for formally recognizing that. In addition to how I lovingly refer to them, the kids that are roaming around the grounds, all of our ambassadors that span from, high school all the way through retirement. The way they donate their time is just truly incredible. I think at the height of everything, we had over 900 hours logged for 1 month alone. So I'm really happy with it. They're still coming back. They want to be here. So thanks for letting us showcase them tonight.
Our pleasure. Thank you for doing everything. Ricky James had a question about what is the reason for all the great eagle, hawk, and owl sightings?
We've got them here.
They love Greenwood.
We've got many birds. I don't know about the owls, but we've got a lot of great birders that come in too that also have been serving as volunteers. So If you're into birding, Ricky, please come on down. You could join our birding and peace walking tours Sundays at 6 a.m.
6 a.m. is a little early, but no, actually, really, to your question, I mean, it's a it's a relatively undisturbed site of 478 acres, and so even during the bird migrations in the spring and the fall, just like they do in Central Park, they stop by. They're here. They love Greenwood, and it's a pretty quiet place usually. It's been a favorite for bird watchers, and you're welcome to come anytime and check them out. Simeon, thank you so much.
Gabrielle is dressed for tonight's event, the Night of Victorian Tragedy, which is live. I don't know if it's sold out or not, and there's also an online thing tonight with Jeff.
Yes, I'm going to put that up on the chat. Yeah.
And I just also wanted to thank everybody from Greenwood for giving my neighbor Potter something to do with regards to looking for fungus.
Oh, yeah.
He's amazing. Potter can't say good enough things. He has been a horticulture volunteer, a regular volunteer, an events volunteer. So if any of you have a Potter of your own, a friend looking to, get involved somewhere, I'm just going to put my email in the chat.
Yeah, Simeon, did you see Potter was there was an article
I
in the
saw it was
Times.
in the Times. I was like, what's that? What's Potter doing there? Cool. I didn't realize you guys had fungus. I mean, you might as well have fungus. Sure, you got everything else.
Oh, yeah. All our fungus tours are sold out. It's very popular.
I'm going to refrain from fungus puns, but it's hard. Does anyone else have any other questions for our friends from Greenwood? Indeed, I could only recommend that people should, if you've never gone, you should go immediately. If you haven't gone recently, you should go again. And if you were just there yesterday, it's still there and still as beautiful as it was, and it's ever changing as well. We do have a question about how many Auguste Saint Gaudens sculptures are there?
Rich, you want to answer that one?
I think just the one, the Stewart Mausoleum.
Seems right. Okay, well, thank you so much. Now it is my complete pleasure to turn this over to Julia Charles, who will introduce us to her fantastic neighborhood and new historic district. Julia.
Thank you so much, Simeon. Good evening, everyone. Thank you to the Historic Districts Council for this award and this recognition across the city. It means a lot to us, our block and the community. And also, I see my family in here, so shout outs to my family. And my neighbors. I see Joe. Joe was it was wonderful working with him doing the Six to Celebrate tour. So thank you so much. You guys have to bear with me a little bit with this, with the video, but I have a video to show you guys, so just bear with me a second.
While Julia is setting that up, I am just going to jump in and mention that we, speaking of Joe, have great videos of East 25th and an extended one of East Flatbush on our YouTube channel that both Julia and Joe worked very hard on and are amazing. So after you watch this great video that Julia has done, pop on over to our YouTube channel and watch that.
East of Flatbush and Bedford Avenues lies the beautiful and tranquil 300 block of East 25th Street between Clarendon Road and Avenue D. Developed by Henry Meyer Building Company between 1909 and 1912 are 56 brownstone and limestone row houses. One can admire the artistry of the buildings with their keystone designs, ornamental door surrounds, bay windows, and to top, crowned with original cornices. The 310 residential building on our block welcomes all that begins to take a stroll. Birds chirping, fragrant scents from flowers in the air precede century-old homes. One would have to assume that these homes were designed with a rhythm in mind. The juxtaposition of the homes on East 25th Street are every 5 brownstones are met with 5 limestone facades. The uniqueness of living on East 25th Street is the gratitude for nature in the urban environment. Walks on our block is pure vibes. It's city living when you reach the avenues, but our block serves as an urban oasis. In 1985, a few neighbors got together to formulate the 300 East 25th Street Block Association, which was meant to organize activities and rally together for various community issues. To name a few of the founders, Vernon Dean, Fred Miller, and Hazel Foster. It is the beauty of architecture that serves as a nexus to building our community. Our beautifully diverse block, consisting of many immigrants across the Caribbean, have worked diligently to maintain their homes and support their community during some of the most trying times in New York City. There most certainly is a synergy that is felt upon entering this block, one that is to be protected and preserved. The stewardship of the residents on the block has made the 300 East 25th Street Block Association the most award recipients of the Brooklyn Botanic Gardens Greenest Block in Brooklyn contest. With the ongoing threat of overdevelopment in our community, we sought after the Historic Districts Council to explore landmarking our block with hopes to include our sister block of East 26th Street. Although our sister block may not have been the best candidates for historic preservation, they remained supportive and we powered forward. After the initial outreach meeting with Kelly Carroll, our grassroots campaign included petition signatures from direct stakeholders, presentations with the Community Board 17 Land Use Committee, and CB 17 General Board, along with a letter writing campaign. Media coverage was instrumental to amplify our objectives and garner more support for our initiative. The first article published was written by former Grassroots Preservation Awards winner Laura Krogan from the Brooklyn Eagle. Sought after niche publications such as Caribbean Life, The Brownstoner, and the Brooklyn Paper fueled the campaign. New York One allowed us to share our story. Here's a few words.
Even in the chill of November, the green thumbs of residents here on East 25th Street in East Flatbush are clear. From sidewalk planters to window boxes, this block between Avenue D and Clarendon Road has won numerous awards for its landscaping, and homeowners proudly display their awards.
We are the winningest block in the Brooklyn Botanical Garden competition. We have won more time than any other block.
It's not garden pest residents here say they fear, but developers who are rapidly buying up properties in East Flatbush and replacing them with large buildings.
Constant, like people still call today and ask, are you selling? They'll come and knock on your door. They'll leave flyers. We even get solicitation emails.
This block is lined with century-old row houses, both brownstones and limestones, mostly one-family homes.
We need preservation. We need to protect the culture. We need to protect the architecture in our community.
Residents are now pressuring the city to act. They formed a committee, collected petitions, and asked the Landmarks Preservation Commission last month for an evaluation. City Councilwoman Farrah Lewis is assisting the effort. She says if granted, East 25th Street would be the first block to be landmarked in East Flatbush.
You'll see it in Bed-Stuy, but not on this side of town. So our goal is to keep it the same so that generations that come can see how gorgeous it was before it turned into what I call Legoland. Different heights and sizes.
Zoning here allows for 6 stories. Residents hope the Landmarks Commission will move quickly before developers swoop in, buy up homes, and replace them with boxy, modern apartment houses. For one block over on East 26th Street, it's already too late.
How do they stick up for themselves and empower themselves against big developers with, lots of money?
Can't allow the developers to come in and change. The thing that we bought into Brooklyn for was the house.
They say the houses, the neighborhood's character, their sense of community are all at stake. The Landmarks Commission says it's reviewing East 25th Street's request, but it cannot specify when it will make a decision or what that will be. In East Flatbush, Janine Ramirez, New York 1.
Neighbors remained informed with information literature provided by the HDC and our proposed historic district newsletter and FAQs. It was the Historic District Council 50th anniversary 6 to Celebrate launch party that catapulted East 25th Street as a preservation priority in New York City. Our initiative began to grow, and so did our reach. We launched an online petition, created a logo to identify our mission, and created marketing materials such as infographic cards and buttons. We were able to serve as a panelist for the HDC's Preservation Conference, Designation Tales, and tabled for the event. Little did we know that life as we knew it was about to change. A global pandemic. To reignite our campaign, we hosted a small outreach event with face masks donated by our assembly member and coined it PPE and Preservation. This event provided needed face masks, preservation information, and reinvigorated neighbors for the upcoming public hearing with the Landmarks Preservation Commission. In addition to live testimony from the HDC, New York Landmarks Conservancy, Community Board 17 Land Use Chair, and current resident leaders, written testimony was provided by current and former residents, Vanderveer Park Church, and the full General Board of CV17. All testimonies submitted were in favor of our proposed historic district. HDC continues to keep our initiative at the forefront by providing an opportunity to co-lecture a preservation school class, Preservation during the pandemic. Tuesday, November 17th, we did it. East 25th Street was designated as New York City's 151st Historic District. In light of the pandemic, the HDC seeks to celebrate Walking Tour went virtual. Neighbors were able to showcase their homes, their gardens, and the beautiful streetscapes. Remember the house on our sister block? That home has since been demolished, leaving behind a gaping hole, waiting for an erroneous building to go up in its stead. The positives is that preservation is at the foreground of initiatives throughout East Flatbush and amongst various community-based organizations. Our initiative has been able to lend support to East Flatbush studio work by Pratt Institute, New York University's preservation class, Respect Brooklyn's campaign to preserve the Flatbush Savings Bank, and the PS90 redevelopment site, to name a few. Take a look around. There's so much beauty here, both architecturally and culturally. Thank you so much to the Historic District Council for your education, guidance, and advocacy, and for granting East 25th Street Historic District Initiative as the 2021 recipients of the Grassroots Preservation Awards.
Hi, everyone. I hope that went smoothly.
Julia, that was
Hello,
remarkable.
everyone. Thank you so much for joining this meeting. My name is Diego, and I work for the Historic Districts Council. Today, we're having another meeting of the Upper Manhattan.
Do not worry, that was not a Zoom bomb going on. One of the wonderful that we live in the Zoom life. We're having a meeting just like Greenwood. We're having a Upper Manhattan meeting right now too. Julia, that was remarkable. Thank you so very, very. You did that all yourself. You have to unmute. Nope.
Here we go.
There you go.
Is that better?
Much better.
All right, I'm on. I lost my screen, so just so you guys know. But no, it was my pleasure to put that together. I think it's important to show not just the homes on the block, but to see like the people that are impacted, you know, and to see a little bit of the community and see what we're going through in terms of the demolishing of our homes, you know, the houses here, and you know, and whether it's Victorians or the row homes, there are lots of developers that are coming in and buying up these homes, and so it was important to really just show everyone what we're facing, what we have, what we appreciate, what we work hard for, and how, you know, really the power is in the people to fix that.
Well, that was a wonderful, wonderful presentation, and I'm completely awed also by the technical expertise and the narrative of it. It was, thank you so much. The one thing you didn't do is take a picture of, include that picture of when the LPC was doing surveys in the middle of COVID.
Oh, right, that's right. I'm glad you brought that up, Simeon, because I think like I can the LPC, and but we're used to on East 25th just real estate just coming in and kind of taking pictures and of course offering whatever for people to sell their homes. So when I saw someone taking pictures, you know, I quickly, you know, grabbed my cell phone and took a picture and said, hey, do you guys know this guy? Because if you don't, you know, I might have to go outside and speak, you know, give him a little word.
Michael Karatzis.
Yes.
Yes. Ricky James actually has had a question. Are there any famous persons living or have lived on East 25th Street? Are there any landmarks there also?
Any landmarks? The closest landmarks that are to East 25th Street is Fisk Terrace, Prospect Park South, Ditmas Park, and also Prospect Lefferts Gardens.
Mm-hmm.
But in East Flatbush, this would actually be the first. And really, it's been a lot of discretion of whether we're East Flatbush or Flatbush. But because of where we're marked with the community board, being Bedford right to the back of us, it puts us as East Flatbush, which in a way was kind of worked in our favor to be the first for this area. But yeah, so I would definitely say Prospect Lefferts Gardens, you know, Prospect Park South, they're all neighboring historic districts.
And am I misremembering? I thought that I want to say Austin Tobin from the Port Authority lived on your block.
Yes, and wow, and there's, my God, I should have done my homework. But there was a leader in the suffrage movement who lived on 350 East 25th Street. She lived in that home, and apparently the big march before the suffrage movement march in Brooklyn, that was kind of like a launch party was done at her home. So
very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, I hope you look at the chat. People really loved the video.
I'm still looking for my screen, believe it or not.
And also, you're going to be, have you heard yet if you're going to be presenting at the National Trust for Historic Preservation Conference with Kelly Carroll in the fall?
I haven't heard back yet, but that, fingers crossed. And next steps for us is to hopefully be a certified local historic district so that we can take advantage of those tax credits.
Those are great. And you can also pair them if anyone is planning on doing, for example, solar panels or something like that. I know they did that because you've got flat roofs, so it can be an effective means of doing that. They did that in Crown Heights North. A couple of neighbors got together and got historic preservation and solar energy tax credits. Great. Wow. Well, does anyone, is there anything else you'd like to share? It was just such a really touching and great portrait of your neighborhood.
Thank you so much. I really wish I really wish I could look at the chats. I haven't found my screen yet. But
Okay, Lisa Alpert, who is your fellow awardee, looked it up, and it was Nellie Marshall was the suffragette.
Yes. I just wanted to say, this initiative was really like we used the 300 East 25th Street Block Association as a launch pad. And so what happened in 2019, I served as the Block Association president. And this has obviously been going on before my time. 1985 is when it was founded, but it was an opportunity to speak with neighbors and discuss issues in the community. And one of the things that hasn't yet to been addressed was landmarking. And so I really took that under my wing as a mission. And so that really was the launch pad for birthing the East 25th Street Historic District Initiative. So I just want to give credit where credit is due. This organization and other block associations have been pulled together for quite some time just to address issues, even just to have respect within the city. And so that needs to be said, and how important it is community organizing and fellowship with your neighbors, how you can actually get things done just by communicating.
And you've done a remarkable job, and it's hopefully other communities will see model for things done for uniting in common cause and getting things done, from getting a landmark to just meeting your neighbors, keeping beautifying the block, helping schools out. All of these are things that we really need community members, New Yorkers, to band together to do. Well, all right. Michelle, do you want to close it up?
Hi, yes, thank you. I just wanted to say thank you to Greenwood and East 25th. This was amazing. As I mentioned, we have the walking tour videos, and also Julie mentioned, on our YouTube channel, as well as the preservation school that she mentioned. So if anyone's interested, you can head over there, watch them all for free. Also, just as a reminder, this was just our first Grassroots event. So we have several more coming up on May 13th, tomorrow. We are awarding our French New Media on Tap New York, and also the Save the Walenta and Alexander Yanta, I'm not gonna be able to say this, Polniczki House Coalition. On May 19th, we have the Upper Riverside Alliance. And on May 26th, we have our Mickey Murphy Award, Judy Stanton, and our Friend in High Places, Councilmember Danny Drum. All of those are available on our website. You can go register now, just as you registered for this one. And our program is also available now. So hopefully we will see you at the rest of the events. And thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks so much. Congratulations, everyone.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Good night.